Imagine a world where clean energy is limitless. A world without pollution, without conflicts over energy resources, without long-term radioactive waste. An energy so powerful and safe that it could completely transform our civilization. For decades, it has been a dream, a distant promise. But what if I told you that we're about to make the dream of replicating the power of the sun, right here on Earth, a reality? This is not science fiction. We are talking about nuclear fusion, and in recent months we have witnessed such monumental advances that history might remember this moment as the true dawn of the clean energy era. Get ready to discover how scientists are harnessing the power of the stars. On December 5th, 2022, and again in 2023, in a hidden laboratory in Livermore, California, history was made. The Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, through its National Ignition Facility, achieved something unprecedented: fusion ignition, or more simply, producing more energy than was used to initiate the reaction. To understand the magnitude, consider this. For the first time in history, a nuclear fusion experiment released a net amount of energy. It wasn't just a positive energy balance, it was a resounding demonstration that the principle works. They used 192 giant lasers to heat and compress a tiny hydrogen fuel capsule to extreme temperatures and pressures, momentarily replicating the conditions at the core of a star. The result? A small burst of energy, the sound of the future. But what exactly is nuclear fusion? It is the inverse process of nuclear fission, which is what current power plants use to split large atoms and release energy. Fusion, on the other hand, joins light atoms, like hydrogen, to form a heavier atom, releasing a colossal amount of energy in the process. It's what powers our sun and all stars. Sounds simple, right? Joining atoms. The problem is that atomic nuclei have a positive charge and repel each other with incredible force. To overcome this, we need temperatures of millions of degrees Celsius, hotter than the sun's core, and extreme pressures. Keeping a mini-sun contained in a laboratory without it disintegrating or burning everything around it has been the great challenge of engineering and physics for almost a century. There are two main approaches to achieve these extreme conditions. The first is what we saw at LLNL, inertial confinement. Here, extremely powerful and rapid laser pulses compress a tiny hydrogen fuel pellet until it fuses. It's like a micro-bombardment that creates a mini-star for a fraction of a second. The second path is magnetic confinement, and its ultimate expression is the ITER project in France. ITER is a massive global collaborative effort involving 35 countries. Its design uses powerful magnetic fields to confine a superheated hydrogen plasma in a donut-shaped structure called a tokamak. ITER's goal is to sustain the fusion reaction for longer periods, demonstrating its large-scale viability. Both approaches are crucial, each with their own advantages and challenges. Returning to LLNL, their achievement of net energy gain, or ignition, is a monumental milestone. Previously, all fusion experiments consumed more energy to heat the fuel than they produced. NEF has demonstrated that it is not only possible to produce more energy than is invested in the fuel itself, but also more than is injected by the lasers. This means we have crossed a fundamental threshold. We are no longer just heating the fuel. We are achieving a self-sustaining reaction for an instant. It's like the moment an airplane lifts off the ground. The propulsion overcomes resistance. This breakthrough has infused renewed optimism throughout the scientific community and the private sector, attracting investment and brilliant minds to the field. So, does this mean we'll have fusion electricity in our homes tomorrow? Not exactly. NIF was designed for fundamental physics research and national security, not for continuous power generation. The energy produced was small, barely enough to boil a few kettles of water, but it's the principle that counts. Now the challenge is to scale that reaction. We need to build fusion reactors that can generate energy consistently and on a commercial scale. Private companies and projects like ITER are working on this. There are still gigantic technical and engineering obstacles, from handling tritium, a short-lived radioactive hydrogen isotope, to selecting materials that can withstand extreme temperatures and radiation for decades. Most experts estimate that the first commercial fusion power plants could be operational in decades, perhaps between 2040 and 2060. But every advance brings us closer. If we manage to harness fusion, the impact would be incalculable. The primary fuel, deuterium, is extracted from seawater. There's enough for 1 billion years. A fusion reactor cannot experience a core meltdown like fission reactors. If something goes wrong, it simply stops. It produces radioactive waste, yes, but with much shorter half-lives than fission waste and in smaller quantities. It produces zero carbon emissions. It would be the end of reliance on fossil fuels, the battle against climate change, and the struggle for resources. Nuclear fusion is not just a new energy source, it is the key to a future of global energy prosperity. It could power entire cities, desalinate water, drive manufacturing, and enable new frontiers in space exploration. The recent advances at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory are not just a victory for science, they are a beacon of hope for humanity. We have shown that it is possible, that the dream of the sun's limitless energy is within our grasp. The road is long, but every step brings us closer to a bright future, powered by the might of the stars. What are your thoughts on nuclear fusion? Do you think we'll see operating power plants in our lifetime? Leave your comments below. And if this journey into the future of energy has fascinated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next scientific explorations. See you next time.